What's poppin', y'all? You rockin' with Jiggy Jones, and listen, we got a special guest in the building. And this is not just any guest. This is a brother who's kind of like the poster child for high frequency conversation. You know, elevating yourself not only mentally, spiritually, and physically, but everything that you consume when it comes to content, food, technology, and so many others. We got 19 Keys in the building,
Man,
y'all. What's going
pleasure
on,
to be
brother?
here, good brother.
How are you?
Yes, sir. Man, I'm immaculate. How about yourself?
Man, I'm godly. I'm feeling powerful.
Yes, sir. I like that answer.
So we're here in Chicago,
Yes, sir.
teaming up with Revolt and Oasis Investment Group. So tell us about the event that's going down.
The event is just what you said. It's not even just an investment group, but it's a movement to rebuilding Black America. Mm-hmm. And when we say rebuilding, it puts you in the mind frame that we once actually had something. You understand me? Like, we once had towns, we once had ownership and assets, and we once owned land, right? And had a mindset towards building. And the one thing that they destroyed was our mindset to believing that it's possible to have our own, right? Most people think about, the destruction of Black Wall Street and the physical destruction, but it was really the psychological destruction to where Black people stopped believing that building our own was possible. And once, after that, it was 60 plus other towns that were destroyed as well. And what they are trying to do was to kill that light of believing that you can have independence, of believing that you can ever have your own. Why? Because it works better for everybody else's community if we depend on them. Then they take that $1.6 trillion that we have as a spending power, and that is something that they can use to have an infusion of wealth in their communities. So now when most people don't talk about the flip side of all our money that doesn't circulate in our communities going to somebody else's community where they benefit off our ignorance. So tomorrow's event is about reframing and reconstructing what it means to rebuild Black America.
No, definitely. And you got to have a starting point, right?
Yeah.
With every movement, every level of progression, there's foundation, there's roots, there's stems. Where does that stem come from when it comes to owning our own and regaining our independence just as a community and society?
I think first it comes from pride. You understand me? And self-love, right? Without self-love, you can't do anything. Self-love is the reflection of all love. It's the reason that we do anything. Right? If you don't have love for self, you won't develop any love for your people. You won't develop love to beautify your neighborhood and to put wealth into that neighborhood and to want more for yourself. You'll be happy with what you're given. So giving our people, re-engineering the type of self-love that you have, right? Because often even the self-love that we have is the self-love that we generate artificially so that we can live in a world ran by somebody else, right? To where we're looking for validation, right? Instead of realizing that, my life is validation. The fact that I'm alive and I'm a human being is validation enough on why I deserve to live a better life, why I deserve to have freedom, justice, equality, and wealth, right? And so re-engineering that self-love that we have for each other, where when we come in our environments, we want better every aspect of life, the way we dress, the way we feel, the way we treat each other, the way that we eat, the way that we speak to each other, or even down to the way that we smell. And we walk outside thinking of how is it that somebody else can own the house that I live in my whole entire life, but I never think that that's for me as well. Yeah. Right? If you love yourself, right? I was always taught, want for your brother what you want for yourself. If we consider every other people and every other race to be our brothers and sisters, then we should want what they have for ourselves. Exactly. You understand me? And so if they consider themselves to be our brother and sister, then they should want what they have for us as well. Exactly. So it's not even just a Black thing, because anybody that considers themselves to be a friend of Black America should help us getting what they have.
Allies.
Exactly.
Be allied to it. So, there's a cliche that says, we can't change the world unless we change ourselves. So of course, you're one of the leaders when it comes to elevating your thought, elevating your mindset, and because it all starts with the mind.
Yes, sir.
You conceive it, believe it, then achieve it.
Yes, sir.
So where did 19 Keys kind of start to gain this level of consciousness in order to take those actionable steps and actually matriculate that, let that be a domino effect to affect those in the community?
I think I've been through a rugged journey of self-development, through my early years as a child, getting an early theology and education on the God self, right? And knowing who you are, and that God self means that you have a limitless potential. So I never put a box on what I can become. But also life comes with the ups and downs of the darknesses and the experiences that I went through as well. So being in the streets, going through the different, emotional changes, seeing my parents' relationship, seeing people that I know get killed, seeing people I know going through my own courses of cases that I had throughout life, and jumping into criminality and then finding my element back into the power of self. It's been a lifelong journey of a multitude of different things that have led me to the ultimate perspective that I have now, which is I'm in control of my destiny. I'm in control of my life. Everything that happens internally, right, is the reaction to the world outwardly, right? Like nothing that I go through, nothing that I have, nothing is by accidents. The world is a battle of will. In your own dream, you get to be the master of everything. You can change the color of it, you can fly, you can move around. But when you wake up, you're in a collective dream, right? Where you can't just change things the way you want to, because somebody else may want to change that. So now it's the power of who has the strongest will. And I was always taught where there's a will, there's a way. That's always been one of my strongest mantras throughout my life.
There we go.
And I use that as a superpower, that anytime I want to do something, if I have the will to do it, you understand me, then it can be done, right? So, my greatest playground is my imagination. You understand me? I keep it childlike so I can stay creative. I don't want to get to a rigid point where I start thinking this is just the way it is. When people get to that, they get that from old people who've lost their will. They lost their way to continue to accomplish. And so growing up in a Black Muslim household first taught me about the God self, and then going through the streets gave me the reflection and the experience to go through the darkness and still get through light. You understand me? And then doing my own independent studies allowed me to gather information and knowledge from all different schools of theology around the world, and to work every single day to develop my own original perspective on life. And I think that that's probably the biggest key of all.
Yeah, you speak about your original perspective. I feel like anytime you're looking to just better yourself, there's a level of discernment you have to have, because there's so many different influences in our environment. Cliche, you become a product of your environment, which is true to an extent. But I feel like you have to take the initiative to, decipher what actually you need. So what was it that you deciphered within your environment to choose this level of consciousness, or to just better yourself in general?
Well, you look around and sometimes you see some ugly people. You know what I'm saying? And you got to decide, do you want to be ugly too? You know what I'm saying? Because ugliness is a choice. Most people don't realize being ugly is a choice. You understand me? When you look in the mirror, either you see somebody that you love, you see somebody that's beautiful, you see somebody that's ugly. When I walk outside, I've seen a lot of ugly people. You understand me? Physically and spiritually. So I'd have to make a decision. Do I want to be like that ugly person, or do I want to be like that person that I see in the mirror every day when nobody's around? And so, that ugliness comes out in many different ways: jealousy, envy, manipulation, narcissism, lying, just so many different ways that when you grow up in an environment, there's so many things that can sway you to become like what you see, right? And so I didn't want to become like my environment, because my environment wasn't aspirational. My environment wasn't beautiful when I looked around. Some of them were, right? My mother and my father, for the struggles in their relationship, they still put us around beautiful environments. They tried to take us to places that helped our imagination see more than just the realities of the hood. They taught us different knowledges about the world. Like when we was younger, as a Muslim, you learn the actual facts. You learn that it's 149,946,000 square miles across the planet Earth. And the reason we was taught that, to know that, your environment is not the locality of where you grow from, it's the whole planet Earth. You understand me? Like, you can go across this globe. We was taught about land is 57,255,000 square miles. There's more than just square miles that you grow up. We was taught that water is 139,685,000 square miles. And this knowledge was in the mind of children so that you can know your real estate. So just because the locality of my environment was Oakland or St. Louis, and you can develop such a sense of pride for where you grow up, but you don't take a sense of pride for that this being your earth and this being your dominion.
Yeah.
So you don't think globally.
Yeah.
So I've always been a global thinker. Even when I was in a local situation, even when I was on a local budget, I still had a global mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's a way to make sure that you always have, transference above your reality. Because people in your environment, they probably have a certain economic income.
Yeah.
They dress a certain way, they speak a certain way, they act a certain way, they think a certain way. And so if you don't gain anything outside of that environment, you just become a product of everything around you, right? But I used to take myself through exposure trips is what I call them, or exposure reading. I used to make sure that I gained information that was outside of what people typically would look at a young black male to know, or I went to places that people would typically see a young black man in. So I wanted to expose myself to make sure that whatever you was thinking that you see right here, I'm here though. You understand me? So you can never properly judge me, right? And I think that that's a key that if young men and women, apply that, right? Regard, like I'm in the hood and I'm studying physics, you wouldn't think I can bring that up in a conversation, right? But then once I do, you say, oh, I got to treat them differently. This is not the impression I thought I was going to have,
Facts.
right? So I'm always forcing people to reevaluate who I am, right? Based on what I'm exposed to that allows me to be more expansive than this regular image you have, right? Of a young black male, especially based on my geographical location.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think exposure to any underserved community, any unprivileged area, places where the resources aren't as active, as accessible. Exposure is big.
That's a fact.
So that goes back to the event with Oasis, yourself, the brothers Troy and Rashad from Orient Leisure and Revolt, taking whatever accessibility that those brothers have and bringing it back to a community like Chicago, which is that kind of mirrors a lot of different communities across the world. You mentioned you growing up in Oakland, St. Louis. I'm sure like that's whatever's going on in the community of Chicago, there was like a similarity going on with you growing up. And even though we're shaping our minds to think globally, we still have to come back to our community in order to affect that change.
Absolutely.
So how do you take that and implement the buying the block that Oasis is, the agenda that Oasis is pushing?
It goes to gentrifying our own neighborhoods. When you gentrify a neighborhood, it's usually wealthier people coming in there to beautify, to bring new businesses and opportunities to that environment. The idea is that we are the wealthier people, right? Our collective spending power, our collective investment power is the wealthier people. Saying that, all right, you walk through the hoods of Chicago, Oakland, St. Louis, right, Houston, Detroit, wherever it may be, and you look around. A wealthy person, when they come in that environment, they see opportunity. Not what it is, what this can be.
Facts.
Right?
Attention.
Oh, okay, this store right there, that could be a coffee shop right there. Then they do the numbers and the statistics. Okay, coffee shops in certain radius or certain banks in certain radius, increase the value of the neighborhood. So they start creating plans for it. They have a vision for it. They start redesigning the reality of it, right? And so what happens is when the wealthier people come, those of lower socioeconomic income, they can afford to be nowhere. They can't be there no more, right? Because it's no longer a poverty environment. Now, if we take that same model and we say, okay, we want to increase, right, the class of this neighborhood, not just kick people out, but the mentality of the people would have to change, right? Because when growing up in St. Louis, we were the worst thing about our neighborhood, right? We were the ones breaking into houses and breaking into the cars and doing the shootouts and all and selling the drugs and doing the criminal thing.
That was just a reaction to
the reaction to our older brothers and the other people that we know doing those same things. Not even sometimes just the reaction to the environment, but the people, right? The people are the environment, just in the sense that we don't always take accountability. Sometimes we put the boogeyman, right, on our actions. Right? And so the accountability that we gotta have now, where it's like, bruh, we didn't have to do those crimes, to be honest. But now we in a different point in time where, we seen niggas selling drugs, so we wanted to sell drugs because we felt like that was fly. We wanted to get fly, right? But now we got the internet, right? Now we got different exposure. Now we can see so many different ways to make money. So now what is the vision for the money that you make? When you walk outside, how can you gentrify your neighborhood should be your idea. Like, okay, I seen this abandoned building, right? How many people would it take to come together to buy this building, right? Own it, fix it up, flip it, put some tenants in there, right? Now these 10 families that just came together, now they have income that's coming in passively, right? That's a strategy. When we think about it by ourselves, right, then we got a lack of resources. Damn, I can't do that by myself. Damn, we don't like to work together. Damn, we can't trust nobody.
Group economics.
With group economics, but we create all these impediments towards group economics because our lack of self-love and our lack of trust to each other, right? But when you realize that I never have to be the one that have it all, I just have to be connected to it, and together we always have it all. So it's more so about when you start locally, it's forcing you to look inside your environment and ask yourself, what can I change? What happens if I invest in this? What happens if I'm the one that's the wealthier counterpart that comes and reimagine my neighborhood?
Yeah, no, that's facts, man. You preaching per usual.
Man, you know, it's coming a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They say TD Jake's retired. You know what I'm saying? So
you
might have to take the
torch?
Yeah, man.
No, I ain't mad at it. Now, I heard you mention previously, the systems of analogies. You talk about environment, experiences, execution, emotional intelligence.
Yes, sir.
And
The
education.
E's.
Now, I know all of those work in tandem.
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone that trumps over the other? Is there anyone that's a priority over the other? Or we talk about foundation and stems and roots. Is there anyone that's the root that kind of leads to a domino effect of the others?
I would say environment. I think environment is the root. From when we're a baby, right? We don't really make conscious decisions. Everything is programmed into us. So the environment that your parents are in. I heard Michelle Obama talking about this on an interview with Revolt, and she was talking about not being friends to your children, right? Because, it's what they want and it's what you want for them. You understand me? And they may not always be aligned, so they have to do it regardless. And a lot of parents don't really raise their children. They babysit their children. They try to be friends with their children because you got more younger and younger parents as well. And so instead, there's a responsibility that you have to really raise your child, right? And so that environment that they're in, they have to learn about unfairness in the household, she said, not when you go in the streets, right? So your first encounter is with the police. Your first encounter is somewhere in life. Like, no, you have to learn that discipline inside the household. Like that first environment is the household. There was a statistic that came out that said that, and many people can do their own research on this, that, you have an increased chance of ending up poor or going to jail or being in a low socioeconomic class, right? If you just grow up with a single mother, right? Versus if you grow up with two parents, right, you have an increased chance of being better off, or if you grow up with your father, right? So meaning that a single father raising a child or two parents raising a child is a better environment statistically for a child to grow up in versus a single mother. But the way society sets it up, if those parents split up, most of the time it's usually going to be with the mother, which decreases the chance for that child to actually have a successful life. So the environment of America and the way that we do family is the worst thing. You understand me? Because it's not set up for us to succeed. And with the father not being in the household and not having the rights to raise that child, and then you ask yourself why, right? Because there's a certain covenant of protection that comes and a certain level of respect that comes that you're not looking for when you have your father in the household. Most of the time, young men get in gangs, they're seeking that mentorship. They're seeking a father. Most of the time when women go into different sort of lifestyles, they're seeking their father. They're having daddy issues. Nobody talks about really having mommy issues, right? We come from our mother, so we know our mother. We feel our mother. We don't feel our father the same way, but we are a seed of our father, right? So our father can give us guidance in a manner of protection that single mothers cannot do. But yet single mothers are forced to be in masculine positions in these households that they're not supposed to, right? And so we have to really get down to the science of our environments and learning how to raise children properly so that they can have a better chance of being successful when they are born.
Now, do you have kids of your own?
No, they coming soon one day.
Got you. Likewise. Now, how? One of the biggest decisions in life, choosing a partner. And how would you go about just kind of just doing that? Like, what are some things that you would look for you know, in a woman, in a spouse, in a partner that will kind of, you know, lead to that decision of building a family?
Man, she gotta be thick. No, I'm just playing.
Check.
No. Seriously. You know, I look for a feminine woman first of all.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because I'm masculine.
Yeah.
Right. And so let's just deal with that feminine principle. Like when therapeutically, right? When you go take a walk, that's you tapping into the feminine nature, right? If a person listening to music, they're engaging in their feminine side, right? A person is writing it like it's an expression, right? The masculine seeks the feminine. The feminine is representation of nature. You walking on the beach, that's feminine, right? As far as the energy, I'm saying. Yeah. So like that, when you got that masculine energy and it's riled up, your release is through the feminine, right? That's what you crave. So as a masculine male, the first thing she has to be is feminine, right? That's because then she becomes a home for me. You understand me? Like your woman is a home for you, right? Like we look at the house is not the home. That's a nice temple. It's built, right? But we are the home. So when I'm with my woman, that's my home. She is a nurturer. She is a great listener. You understand me? She is somebody that can provide soft and gentle challenge to me as well to help me see myself and become better in my character and development, right? You know, and also somebody that knows themselves, somebody that has, you know, a vision for their own life, you know, somebody that you can communicate with that has emotional intelligence, right? Like these are, I think there are, you know, non-negotiables, you know, that a man should look for in a woman. So I played the joke about the thick thing, but really, you know, I love a beautiful woman. I got great vision. You understand me? You know, my vision is immaculate, so I'm gonna see you every day. So what I see, I want to see the beauty on the outside and the inside. But beauty is the eye of the beholder. You feel me? But at the same time, once you get past the exterior beauty, if she doesn't look good on the inside, then it don't matter, right? Because the exterior, that's good for the eyes, but when she is beautiful on the inside, then that's who you want to be with. That's somebody you don't mind the environment forever because she's beautiful, right? She is a grower, she is a nurturer, she's a lover, she's soft, she's passionate, right? Those are things that a man looks for in a woman. You know, there's been a lot of conversation around the ambition of a woman and whether that is a trait that you look for, particularly for a partner. For a woman to be ambitious is a great trait, but that's not particularly what a man looks for in a partner. You understand me?
Explain.
Well, just in a sense, well, I mean self-ambition, right? Like, so self-ambition of her own enterprises. It's not to say that, man, okay, well, what have you accomplished? I don't know too many men that's looking for their partner based on what you accomplished in life. What you accomplished in life is beautiful, but who you are is what I want to be with, right? Who you are is where I create my soul and spirit connection with. So I can't lay in the bed with your accomplishments and your awards and your money. I have to lay in the bed with your spirit. You understand me? And your energy and your touch. You know, so you just gotta kind of keep that in mind as we develop ourselves and as we show ourselves to the world, right? Like even with men, sometimes a man will show a woman what he has, but that's going to reel her in, but that ain't gonna keep her. That ain't gonna keep her happy, I should say. Because many women are in unhappy relationships. But who you are, those masculine traits, your ability to provide, protect, and lead, console from all dimensions, emotional and spiritual, right, and financial, right, and intellectual. Like, can you teach her? You understand me? Like, what can she learn from you? I don't care, no matter what woman you ever come across with. If you teach a woman something, she is forever going to remember you. You understand me? Whether she disliked the way a relationship worked out, there was something favorable that she gained from that. You understand me? And that was the asset of your knowledge.
Definitely. So I'm gonna flip it to you then. Now, what are you doing in order to assure that you attract exactly, you know, like what you're looking for?
Man, I'm a 0.0001% of the planet Earth. You understand me? And so, you know, I'm like to toot my own horn, right? People say not to toot, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, you got to
toot your own horn, man.
You're the biggest.
I went to Egypt, and I seen them ancient brothers that everybody be talking about that they love. They had statues built in their honor. You understand me? I don't think black men ego big enough. I'm not talking about the type of ego that make you compete with your brother, but the type of ego that make you build your own world. You understand me? It's just a different type. But it's like, you know, my thought process on daily developing myself as a man, making sure that I fit those attributes, striving to become better every single day is what I do to attract all of the things that I want. You understand me? you know, I'm not worried about no women, you understand me? I'm good in that area. But as far as like, you know, my goals, my life, my success, becoming that version of myself that I'm proud of. It's different between the version of the world proud of, right? So I'm daily reading, I'm daily working out. You understand me? I'm daily working on my shadow self, right? The part of the world that the world doesn't see. That's just for me to work on my internal self. That's what I do on a daily basis so that I'm constantly growing, right? Like, you know, you can celebrate who you was, right? And I was talking to my brother earlier about Master P and Romeo. They had something going on. And sometimes you talk about like living in the past too much, right? Sometimes we celebrate people for their past accomplishments, right? Instead of updating, like, what are you doing now, right? And so it's like, you know, hopefully them brothers, not young brothers, both of them ain't young, but hopefully, you know, as a father and son, they work out that family dynamic. But it's like when you look at somebody like Master P, most of the time he's celebrated for his accomplishments of the past, right? And you kind of can society can get you stuck in trying to relive that and keep up with that momentum. So you do all of these things to create this image, right? Based on who you was and what the world know you for, rather than who you are and what you're doing now, which is completely different. And I think it's key to make sure that you stay present. You understand me? Like, what I did, I'm not relishing in that. My thought process always stays stoic and what I'm doing next. Because that keeps me living. That keeps me going forward in my purpose. I can't look at, if I saved somebody's life from jumping off a building, I'm not about to walk around with an S on my chest. You understand me? No. That I can't live off past morality. I have to look off the forward morality, the good that I'm doing next. You understand me? And so I think just maintaining being present and living in your daily accomplishments is key.
No, definitely. And I like to compare that to sports a lot. You know, there's a schedule that happens every day. If a team's playing a back-to-back in basketball, it's like, it don't matter if the player scored 40 points the last night to help the team win. It's another game. You can't relish on that highlight reel that literally just happened yesterday, because you got to show up with that same type of energy and same type of mentality in order to put yourself best.
No, you can't be walking in there chest out because you dropped 30 yesterday. That shit ain't got nothing to do with today's game.
No, 1,000%. So
yesterday's score don't count on today's scoreboard.
Straight like that. Now you have this book, the Paradigm Keys.
Yes, sir.
And you talk a lot about paradigm shifting. Explain, you know, what a paradigm shifter is, and you know how that relates to, you know, just your total elevation of self.
You know, well, a paradigm is basically your collection of habits. You understand me? Or a paradigm is, from a global stance, it's like the cycles, you understand me, that we live in. We can live in different type of paradigms. I look at each president as a paradigm. We went through the Obama paradigm, the Bush paradigm, the Trump paradigm, and then it switches every 4 years. We go through economic paradigms to where, you know, you have cycles of boom and technology being at the top, and then there's switching paradigms. So we go through different paradigms of our life where our collection of habits, now we making $30,000 to $50,000 a year based on everything that we doing, adding up to that frequency and that cycle. Now you're talking about shifting that paradigm. Instead of there being a paradigm of, in hip hop culture, where it's surrounded by, it seems like a lot of black men are dying, right? How do you switch that paradigm? I believe, well, number one of it is changing the lyrics, having lyric reform. You understand me? Reforming the thoughts that we put out there, then it changes the frequency that is lived and the reality that is constructed based on that. So it's like my existence is shifting the paradigm. Young black men getting known for their intellect, right, rather than their ignorance. That's a shifting paradigm. And so when you want to create a new paradigm, you got to put organizations around it, events around it. You have to put out information around it, right? All of these things have to add into that paradigm and shift it. And when you know it's shifted, you understand me, it's because people are no longer asking about it. It's just the new norm. Like, we now live in a new norm that we probably don't realize on many different scales. The paradigms are always shifting, but you don't even realize it because it's so normal now. So like when the paradigm of, you know, think about hip hop went through a paradigm of, you know, mumble rap. It's changed from mumble rap. But people don't talk about it no more because it's past that.
That's the new norm.
Right? Now it's about death culture. Right? And us breathing life back into hip hop. Like what Nas and 21 Savage did, I think was a great paradigm shift. right? Because instead of them beefing, creating more conflict, because everybody wanted to pick up the gossip and the news and the
21
BS.
saying,
They couldn't wait to take sides, and they supposed to be OGs. Instead, you're supposed to do what Nas did, which was counsel, not cancel.
Yep.
You understand me?
Counsel
So Nas really set the stage on how the God's supposed to handle this. Instead of these grown men want to bicker and gossip. Oh no, this is my favorite rapper. Like, come on, man, that's soft. So now we get to the point where you're like, no, man, that's what you do. You build with them. You understand me? God's built with each other. That's the new paradigm.
Yeah, no, definitely. And what other paradigms just have you seen? I mean, you're constantly creating, shifting the paradigm constantly. But what others have you seen? Whether that be in hip hop culture, finance, and community. What have you seen, recently that catches your eye? In order to continue to progress our society?
Well, I think just the financial literacy paradigm that we're going through, where financial literacy is lit. You know what I mean? Like it's financial lit, right? Like it's at this point where now people are talking about stocks, people are talking about real estate, people are talking about credit and putting together their trust, right? People are talking about entrepreneurship and business and marketing and branding and design. Like it's beautiful to see us talking about something that matters, right? And now it's about, all right, what's the next elevation to that, right? We have to talk about science and engineering and design. We have to talk about technology. We have to talk about technology and artificial intelligence, right? And we have to talk about blockchain technology, and we have to talk about bioengineering and social, economics and, psychology. We have to talk about health science and things of that nature. That's where high-level conversations is. High-level conversations is a paradigm shift. Having a hit show that's above mostly all entertainment shows out there right now, where it's about social sciences. You understand me? It's not about BS. You understand me? But now we can get together as a family and we can listen to something of intellectual value. That's a paradigm shift, when normally all we can get together when it's about, love and hip hop. You understand me? Which has no value. It's like you eating food that's junk food, and that's that's junk. You understand me? It has no nutritional value, right? So there's certain content that we consume that has no nutritional value for us. It's not good for us at all. Right, I'm gonna put together me a list of like some of my top high-level conversations, not from my platform, but when I see other people have it, because we have to celebrate people when they're doing the right thing. You understand me? Otherwise, we'll have one-offs where we do something good one time, but it wasn't celebrated and it wasn't taken the right way. So therefore, we might not do it again. You know what? I'm gonna do that ignorant shit again. That shit got a better look. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, because you get more eyes on it.
So you have to praise people for doing good, even though you should just do good normally. But you are to make it to where people do good and they're seen as excellent when they do it. And they get the same type of look when people do something that matters none at all, right? So that's really the paradigm shift. Praising when we do good works in the same way when we praise when we do ignorant things.
No, definitely. Now explain the difference between a mentor and a peer tour, and why both of those either matter and just the difference between.
I never liked the word mentor. I did some education on it, and when you go back to like Roman and Greek society, it really had to do with boy lovers. You understand me? And them taking boy lovers, and you taking somebody under their wing. And what happened is that the young man always has like this rebellious spirit towards society and the paradigm that is. So they literally used to practice pedophilia and commit sexual acts to sort of like kill that energy and that spirit that the young man has. Then they would teach them their indoctrination, and that young boy grows up to further that paradigm and then do the same thing to the next one. So I never liked that word mentor because of the connotations of what it came. When you hear something like that, you start to connect that connotation.
Exactly.
Now that's not what it really means in like today's society. People talking about getting a coach. People talking about getting a discipline, right? A discipline is, discipline is when you are taking on the spirit and the energy of somebody you look up to, right? So you're acting as a disciple, right? So when people are talking about being a mentor, you're really talking about being a disciple of somebody that keeps you disciplined. So in your mind, am I doing what they're doing, right? Oh, and I'm doing this, but what would so-and-so do, right? Now you become a disciple. So I think that the word disciple is better than the word mentor just because the connotation is not connected. But then the word puritor comes from the idea of that my peers are the ones that I learn from, but at the same time, ones that I teach. So instead of it being vertical, master student, no, it's cross lateral. I can learn from the people on the side of me. You understand me? And now it makes us all equal. It makes us all one. Right? Like me and my brother Rashad, we have a dope relationship. I probably talk to him the most, but we go back and forth on subjects all the time. And society is not used to seeing men have those sort of conversations to where they don't have to agree on everything, but they still good. Like we can get to this height, then afterwards we chill again.
Exactly.
That's how you intellectually build. You understand me? So I have peer tours that I can learn from, I can build with. I call, we exchanging ideas, right? And so I've never had, when I look at like older men always tried to compete with me growing up in life. And it was like, dang, I'm supposed to be learning from you. But they always tried to compete with me. And so it was like a mental castration that they were trying to do. But my rebellious spirit was like, no, like what y'all doing is old. Like, can I teach y'all the new way? And they didn't want that because they feared their own replacement. So there's often like this spirit of, I don't want to allow this spirit to grow too much. I have to condense his light. And I just never allowed nobody to do that. So finding peers that have their own light probably dealt with that same thing. Like, damn, they didn't teach you the game. They didn't teach me the game. All right, well, I got this game. Let me teach you. Well, I got this. Let me teach you. Oh, bro, you're not on square on this. Do this. So now we connected with each other. Now we putting each other in different doors, bringing each other to different tables. That's the idea of having peers that you can be disciples of. You understand me? And each one of us are keeping each other disciplined because we know that in this space, it can be fragmented very fast, right? And what most people look for when they find something successful and moving, they look for the weak points. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is gonna go last. I see this, that. Instead of commenting in a manner to where it's positive construction to keep this thing going,
at least
they want to poke at the foundation that's weak so that it cracks. And that ain't happening.
No, definitely. I'm a big believer in community and collaboration as opposed to competition.
Absolutely.
You can't. We're definitely stronger together. The strength in numbers, as people always say, and at the same time, it's the vision. Doesn't create anything but that competition. So you say whether that's age, whether that's race, any type of division. If you could find a division in something, it further leaves us in a place where we can't progress.
Inclusion, solidarity, then it builds unity, right? We have to include each other in the things we do. Solidarity, we have to bring each other to that table, have to come together for a common cause, and that breeds a unified effort, right? And so having the same mission, vision, and values will keep you aligned, right? And this is why I stress, look at the ethnic background of the people you work with, not just the race of the people you're working with. Because you my brother, we both black, you understand me? But at the same time, what's your ethnic background? What do you believe? What's your values? Where you come from, right? What's your religion, right? Those are the things that's going to keep us connected. Even in relationships, like, don't just look at the race of your woman. What's her ethnic background? You understand me? So if you don't know the person that you're getting with, the person you're going, whatever relationship, you have to know the ethnic background so you know how these ethnicities can collaborate with each other and complement each other.
No, definitely. Now, as the year comes to a close,
yes, sir.
What would you say you're most proud of? This year it's definitely been an immaculate year for yourself, your brand, and your overall progress in continuing the paradigm shift of our community and our culture. What would you say you're most proud of?
I've had an extraordinary year. I think we just about checked off everything on the list that we wanted to do and some. But I would say the proudest thing is, working with my family. Them being the backbone to my businesses and the infrastructure and accomplishing, what's really been the hardest thing in my life, getting together and creating a family business. With all the different emotions and personalities and dysfunctions that we have, we found a way to work together functionally, right? And this is paying everybody bills. So I feel like, of all things that I've done, when I go to sleep at night, that's one of the things that I can sleep on that makes me feel well deserved. You understand me? And like teaching and reaching the people and all of that, that's beautiful. But if you don't take care of home, you understand me? I don't believe you're really a man. And so before anything, I take care of home. You understand me? And that's not even like as a son. I have 7 brothers. You know, I got 2 sisters. So that responsibility don't completely lie on me.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Where
But
do you fall within the family as far as
I'm the
age?
middle child.
Okay.
You understand me? But at the same time, there's a LeBron in every family. There's a 19 Keys in every family. And so if the family can get around, right, that person who found some strides of success, right, then they most likely can create a foundation for everybody to be successful.
Exactly.
And so it's one thing to talk that, it's another thing to live it. You understand me? And when you live it, I heard Magic Johnson say don't do business with family. And I think that's weak. I think it's a weak perspective to have, and it's a very weak perspective to share. That may be your family. You know, we're not trying to be like your family, right? We want a functional family. And so when black men are in position of power, we should not spread dysfunctional family rules. We should spread functional family rules. The hardest things there are to do, let us go through that mud, let us go through that darkness, because on the other side is where we have our wealth and prosperity. But when you have individuals talking about how they gain capitalistic success, they start to attribute that like those are lessons that they can teach to a culture that's working to come back together in a man and a family, and that's not correct.
No, 1,000%. 1,000%. Now, I love to always ask this question to guests, and is how have you defined success now, and has that definition changed from, you know, when you started your journey to becoming 19 Keys?
That's a good question. I think I always define like success is the ability to bring your thoughts into reality. You know, to have a thought in your mind, to have a clear vision, a clear picture, and then to live it. Like that's really, for me, that's success, right? And I feel like success can happen every day, and success looks different on everybody, depends on what you have in your mind, right? But now I feel like success for me at this point is just becoming a better person. You know what I'm saying? Like working on that shadow self, becoming more disciplined, more focused, more honorable, and that's a lifelong journey. You know, but you know the small steps that you take to become better, right? The better thinking techniques that you have to get through stress and anxiety, the better ways you learn how to communicate with people, the better ways you learn how to foster relationships, the better ways you learn how to be a guide, right? And be trusted and become trustworthy, and like all these things that you add to your character, right? To me, that's success. You understand me? Because one person may have success financially, you know, and we often grade that as success, but then we look at somebody like the brother Twitch. You know, that brother, I used to send him my videos back in 2008. He was one of the first like celebrities I seen with the blue check that was interact with my lives a lot. You know, and you look at it, and I seen the tweet, somebody was tweeting, and they had him and a bunch of other smiling people that committed suicide, and they say this is a face of suicide or depression rather, and that's not the face of depression. That's the face of happiness. Those are the moments that we work to get us through on a daily basis, right? The face of depression you don't really get to see, because that's what people go through by themselves, right? You don't see that face. That's probably the one time they actually can find some semblance of joy, is when they outside and they're making everybody else happy. They find purpose to get them through another moment. But when they by themselves and they in that shadow and they alone, that's the face of depression, is what you don't see. It's not what you see, right? And so everybody's looking for it, but you can't see it because it's not what happens when you're around. You understand me? And so finding that strength when you by yourself and finding that joy and loving that person in the mirror and becoming a better person and hearing that voice in your head that's always having that self-judge, and you become more aligned with that person, be like, all right, you told me to stop, I stopped doing that, right? You're not judging yourself because you're not doing things against yourself. To me, that's true success.
Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. Now, of course, this is going down here in Chicago. It's a big event. Shout out to Revolt, Oasis, yourself, Troy Rashad,
yes, sir,
and your leader. What is the biggest impact that you want the attendees to really take away from this event? How can they take, whether it's the words and all the inspiration that they get, how can they take that and put that into action, you know, going into 23, being that we're about to end this new year?
Well, the event is connected to an actionable thing, you understand me, which is an actual fund. Right? So one of the most actionable things is, yes, you're going to hear the beautiful words and the sessions that we have, but it's actually getting involved, right? bringing deal flow, bringing ideas, bringing awareness to it. You understand me? Going to your neighborhood when you, like I said, when you go back home, look at those abandoned buildings, coming up with plans, then coming back to us like, I want to get involved. This is what we can do in our neighborhood with a portion of the fund, right? And then becoming a shareholder inside the fund. We don't often talk about that part because what we focus on is showing what we already doing, right? So it's but at the same time, I was talking to my brother, him 500, he's like, we can't do anything without raising money. Every other culture knows how to raise money, right? I think it was something around like 1.67% of, capital funding, investor capital comes to Black America. You understand me? And it's less for Black men and women, right? And so when we think about that, is the reason that we haven't been able to succeed is because we haven't had the capital succeed. But we have a $1.7 trillion fund, and that's called Black America. And so what we're asking is Black America to invest in itself. We're not even asking outside, nobody else. When they look at it, they can decide to invest. They can decide to get a part of it, but we got to talk with the family first. Y'all, we got 1.6 trillion. What y'all want to do with that? I think that's a big pot for us to do any and everything we want to. All we got to do is change our vision for our funds. We have to change our vision, but you also have to have a certain level of education to even know what's possible. So it's about coming together, re-envisioning, reimagining, re-educating our people, rebuilding Black America, and taking those actionable steps to be a part of what we're building. When we look around everywhere, we see deserts, financial deserts and food deserts. And it's now about turning those into an oasis.
There we go. There we go. Talk about BWO and its importance to everything that you do.
Yeah, BWO is the educational component of what I do. More so the coaching, in the sense that, like, literally every single week, I'm teaching once or twice a week, you understand me, to my students and those who undertake my coaching. So on Mondays, we do the mental engineering, where I'm picking up different subjects every single Monday, and I'm teaching you how to develop your mind, how to have those breakthroughs within self. One of the things I like to frame it as a mind manual. You understand me? Most people, they don't teach us how to utilize our minds, but there's so many different techniques that you can utilize to develop a great mind, right? And so most people don't have a life manual, like what is your personality type, right? What is your Myers-Briggs type, right? We taught about life numbers, and we taught about developing, your human design, right? There's so many different ways that each one of us are customized to be different. I was looking at some science based on the fact that everybody doesn't even have an inner voice, right? That inner voice that some people hear very loud and clear, everybody don't have that, right? And so when I'm developing and teaching people how to become better speakers and communicators, some people I can tell them to utilize their inner voice. Other people I can't tell them to do that. So I have to customize the teaching. And large class sizes across America, right, in public school systems and in colleges, they don't customize the education based on who you are. It's generalized. So this is a customization of self-development, right, so that you can actually have those breakthroughs in areas that you need. And the difference between just going through a program where you're learning from a course is that you have to go through that alone. You got the information, but you may not be a great learner. So we teach you how to learn. We teach you how to develop yourself. And once you go through this, you're going to have a bulletproof mindset. You're going to be one of the most confident and developed people on the planet Earth. Go through 52 weeks of mental training with me throughout 2023. Not only that, I got my brothers, and we have other guest coaches that come in. So, once a week, you're going to get the fitness as well. You understand me? And then you're going to get the financial engineering as well. So we're teaching you financial education, how to set up the bank, how to set up the credit, how to do all of these different things, right, from the stocks and everything. So if you're going through this rhythm on a weekly basis, whether it's 3 to 4 times a week, you can choose to be a part of these classes. Not only that, we have our own algorithms for stock trading. We have our own BWO app. You understand me, that the community can live in. We throw our own events. So when we talk about college a lot, we talk about the college experience being one of the most fundamental values and reasons why college is sold to us. I think it was Robert Smith that came on and said that 60% of Black wealth is lost to college debt. That sounds like a scam to me. If that 60% of Black wealth instead was going towards paying college debt, what could we use that for? So we're creating the experience by going through BWO as well. So now you have the events, now you have the community chapters. Now you can say that, oh, I'm getting the network because I'm also a part of a community as well. Now we're giving you all the values of college, but giving you direct skill sets that you can use to gain assets and build wealth and become a more empowered individual. Not only that, we teach blockchain, artificial intelligence, how to create you a book, right? Marketing, branding, content creation. So all of the soft and hard skills that you need on a daily basis just to become better performing as an entrepreneur. I'm teaching this class, even when we do our podcast, like I actually consult people on how to create them shows, right? And I see our format and framework being taken by even larger networks because they're trying to figure out how do I create organic shows that actually work. So I'm teaching that to my students, how to create you a book, how do you sell it, how to create you a show, how do you make it successful, right? So this is like hard and soft skills that you can use on a daily basis, right? Like one of the hardest things that we have is going through life alone when we're trying to develop ourselves and our family not there, right? So being able to be in a community of people who are like you, now you can learn from them, they can reinforce, they can keep you accountable. Now you got a rhythm that you're a part of. Oh, every Monday I gotta be on this, or every Wednesday, or every Thursday, or every Friday, now I'm tapped in, right? So now we have that environment down. Now we're getting you educated, you're getting emotional intelligence, right? You're getting experience and we're teaching you how to execute, right? And so this really, BWO is the gift that you give to yourself. You understand me? It's probably the dopest, not probably, let me take that out, man. You understand me? It is the greatest community with the greatest coach, the greatest thought leader in the world, and I don't take that or say that lightly. I'm developing myself into that role on a daily basis. So being a part of the BWO is the greatest gift you can give to yourself, your children, your neighbor, whoever the hell. You understand me? If you want to trick on your girl, get her in the BWO. You understand? If you want to have you a better man, get him in the BWO.
Christmas,
you know what I'm
holidays
saying?
coming up. That's
Yeah, man. If you celebrate, Christmas, that's how you feel, or Kwanzaa, you feel me? Let's act like Kwanzaa don't exist. You feel me? Get them in the BWO. Let us coach them.
1,000%. That just brings me to personally, my sister opened the first Montessori school within our community, the greater New Jersey area.
Okay, solid.
And so relatability just to not to generalize into education because every child doesn't learn the same way,
right?
But specializing into the individual child and just developing their soft and hard skills as well. So,
Yeah. And you get my network, so I bring people that I know inside that you probably normally couldn't afford to like ask questions to or get a live coaching session. You understand me? And a lot of those calls, sometimes I'll be going over and like try to answer as many, right, as the students' questions that they have. But it's really been a fun experience. You understand me? Because I learned so much from myself as I'm going through this. So it's a self-development process for everybody in there. And I'm not gonna lie, some of them, listen, man, hey, sometimes I feel like one coaching session is worth the price of the whole year's admission.
Sheesh.
Real life though.
That much knowledge being dropped.
Yeah, I'm not 100% confident on it that there's nowhere on the planet Earth that you're gonna get the breakdowns that you get besides in the BWO. And shout out to my brother Jehu and Quay, who are my business partners on that, who have a program called Cheat Code. So we actually came together and partnered to create BWO, right? So they help with the infrastructure side and the stocks and the crypto and the financial literacy to make sure that everything comes together cohesively.
19 keys. I definitely appreciate the conversation, brother. Make sure you plug your socials in, plug where people can find more high-level frequency conversation.
Yeah, so they can find me at 19_keys on Instagram. They can find me at 19 keys just straight on YouTube. You can type in high-level conversations, go to Earn Your Leisure, and you can find high-level conversations under that network. You can find me on what's that thing? TikTok, you understand me?
Oh, you on TikTok too?
Yeah, TikTok popping,
okay,
man. I had Kanye X, she was making the video to my thing. You understand me? And TikTok videos be going viral. I heard America trying to ban it. Well, if they don't ban it, we popping on there too.
Let's get it.
Ever since Elon took over Twitter, I know he be doing some wild stuff, but I didn't increase size over there, by 100%.
There we go.
So I'm locked in with the Elon Twitter.
Scaling.
Yeah, man. We might be on Trust Social. We listen. We just try and get everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Or Truth Social. Yeah. We just reach you. Matter of fact, we're working on getting to Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
There we go. You need to touch every platform and all the people. Well, there you have it. Jiggy Jones, 19 keys.
Yeah.
My guy.
Brother.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.